So what's up YouTube? It's the Night Saint here, back with another video, and this is going to be the Isha Upanishad. This is from this book, the Upanishads. It's like a collection of, I guess, scriptures. So, like I said, I'm trying to get into it and really learn as much as I can. So, without further ado, let's go. The self is everywhere. Bright is the self, indivisible, untouched by sin, wise, eminent, transcendent. It is who holds the cosmos together. The inner ruler. If all the Upanishads, all the other scriptures happened all of a sudden to be reduced to ashes, only if the first verse in the Isha Upanishads were left in myriad Hindus, Hinduism would live forever. With the words of Mahatma Gandhi paid tribute to the remarkable Upanishads, the traditional stands at the beginning poetic grandeur and sustained profundity of his language, which only 18th verse established the fundamental building blocks of spiritual awareness. What Gandhi had in mind was, with his great tribute, he made it clear that in his reply to a journalist who wanted the secret of his life, in 3 words, renounce and enjoy. From the verse of the Isha. The first century of Greek writer we know as Dionysius, the Areopagite, once said that as he grew older and wiser, his books got shorter and shorter, and he had envied the sage of this Upanishad. In its intensity, he does not mince words. The central system, verses 9 to 14, is what scholars call a crux, or a famously difficult passage. The translation brings out its practical significance. Materialism leads us to lose awareness in our inner life, which is bad enough, but to be hypnotized by our own feelings and sensations and forget how others in the world around us is worse. By living in awareness of both these words, we can rise above them towards the one reality. With the last 4 verses of we emerge on that lofty plane, and the Upanishads take on a tone of intense devotion that is rare even in later God-centered mystical literature. Each Upanishad comes with the invocation drawn from a traditional set. The invocation to the Isha is especially striking. Consistent with the condensed meaning of the Upanishad itself, it rings changes on the simple household word for, purnam, and the inexhaustible reality, the infinite of that. The unseen sends forth this world of infinite variety in which we live without ever being diminished. The American poet Anne Sexton may have been thinking of this haunting invocation then when she wrote, "Then the well spoke to me, and abundance is scooped from abundance, yet abundance remains." That is very Gandhian idea. Materialism reinforces a paradigm of scarcity. There is not enough to go around, and so we are doomed to fight one another for ever diminishing resources. Spiritual economics begins not from the assumed scarcity matter, but from the verifiable indefinitude of consciousness. Think of the one original source. Plotinus said, as a spring self-generating, feeding all of itself to the rivers, yet not used by them, ever at rest. And as Gandhi put it, there is enough in the world for everyone's need. There is not enough for everyone's greed. The appearance of scarcity overcomes those whom the Upanishad says the world without alone is real. There is no scarcity of love, respect, meaning that the resources of consciousness, such as the timeless wisdom of the Upanishads. Alright, that was just the introduction of it, but I guess this is the Isha Upanishad, so I can read it to y'all. The Lord is enshrined in the hearts of all. The Lord is supreme reality. Rejoice in him through renunciation. Covet nothing. All belongs to the Lord. Thus working may you live 100 years. Thus alone you will work in real freedom. Those who deny the self are born again, blind to the self, enveloped in darkness, utterly devoid of love for the Lord. The self is one. Ever still, the self is swifter than thoughts, swifter than the senses. Through motionless, he outruns all pursuit. Without the self, never could life exist. The self seems to move, but is ever still. He seems far away, but is never near. He is within all and he transcends all. Those who see all the creatures in themselves, and all the creatures have no fear. Those who see all creatures in themselves, and all creatures know no grief, knows no grief. How can the multiplicity of life delude the ones see in its unity? The self is everywhere, bright as the self, indivisible, untouched by sin, wise, immanent, transcendent. He it is who holds the cosmos together. In dark night live those whom the world without alone is real. And night darker still, for the whom world within alone is real. The first leads to a life of action, the second to a life of meditation. But those who combine action with meditation cross the sea of death through action, enter into immortality. Through the practice of meditation, so we have heard from the wise. In the dark in the dark night live those whom the Lord is transcendent only, and night darker still, from whom he is immanent only. But those whom he is transcendent and immanent crosses the sea of death with the immanent and enter into immortality with transcendent. So we have heard from the wise. The face is truly hidden by your orb of gold. O sun, may you remove your orb so that I adore the true and may see the glory of truth. O nourishing sun, solitary traveler, controller, source of life for all creatures, spread your light and subdue your dazzling splendor, so that I may see your blessed self, even that very self I am. May my life merge in the immortal. My body is reduced to ashes. O mind, meditate on the eternal Brahman. Remember the deeds of the past. Remember, O mind, remember. O God, fire leads us to the good path, to eternal joy. You know all our deeds. Deliver us from evil. We who bow and pray again and again. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay, so that was just the Isha Upanishad, and I guess this is the Upanishad of immortality. If I can go back to it, just to go back to the front. And I guess it's more about merging back into the whole, to the one, right? I think we always speaking about people. I think people, to a certain extent, it's a logical understanding of it, but people want to take things literal when they want to take things literal. And I think if you can take this idea literal, it'll help you further with your spiritual growth. Because I think that helped me a lot. Like, I'm getting this understanding. I'm picking up, let's say the way I grew spiritually, I started to pick from all type of different subjects, philosophies, schools of thought. And I started to combine them and just finding the best way that worked with the way that I was raised. I wasn't raised to a particular type of faith. So I had to learn how to put things together that matched something that I guess felt good for my soul, but it was challenging as well. It challenged the way I thought and didn't just keep me in the one way of thinking. So, and I guess my adventures with philosophy, it helped me just kind of look at people like they was myself. Like I looked at everything, every being, every item, every person, every animal, and I try to treat them as like they me. I try to treat them as they are Kevin Downer, and that's my name, y'all. But for y'all to now know, but that's how I treat them. I treat them how I want to be treated. I have a sense of compassion. Like I would want a sense of compassion if somebody was talking to me. I want some empathy. I want people to empathize with me. I want people to be able to work with me. So let's say in any of my jobs, this is what I try to do. I try to work my way and help people as much as I can. And sometimes I get in trouble for it just because I be, business is business. Like I said, a job is a job. You gotta answer to people. So, and I try to do my best to help people as much as I can. And I do get in trouble for it, but that's how I look at people. I try to give people the best of me. Not saying I'm perfect. Not saying I'm this saintly person. That may be my YouTube channel name, but I'm not the best person. I try to be the best person. I try to be righteous as I humanly can, but we don't always make the mark. Sometimes we may miss it, and that's okay. The more important part, are you the more important part is that you are actively making an effort to be a better person, be a greater person, be a more righteous person, and just be there for people. That's all I try to do. So yeah, and I guess with that being said, it's like I'm in a sense merging, and I also read it from the Bhagavad Gita, like how you know, it's two ways you can like reach realization or like self realization. Either you can do it by God, or I guess you can do it by ego, but at the same time, it's not even through ego. You know, it's either you accept everything as one, or you accept everything as yourself. And I think that was more what I picked up from it. I'm like, oh, I'm accept everything as myself, and and of course, I'm using myself is the ego, but it's with good intentions. It kind of like neutralize everything. So, and I guess that's what they speaking about in this chapter is that when you learn to, it's almost like how they say like you can't lose if you follow God. Like God is always gonna try to do the best thing for you. Universe, whatever you believe in, is gonna try to do the best it can to make sure you got the best life that you desire. And it's like if you're going against God's plan and what God set out for you, it's going to make you suffer a lot. But the moment you start to really accept what He has in store for you and your plans and what you may need to do, what you may have to sacrifice, what you may have to give up, it's almost like you succumb to, for one, God's ultimate plan, but you can't lose no more. There's no way of losing. Just like how they speaking about how you can't die anymore when you accept God and you accept the universe and you accept all these type of schools of thought. When you accept this higher power, you are essentially joining. It's kind of like you merging back with the one. You merging back with the self. There's no reason to even be fearing, that you're gonna lose anything because for one, it wasn't yours to begin with. It was never yours to own. It was the universe. It was God's. It was the Lord. Whatever you perceive it to be, it was always theirs to begin with. That's why you can't lose when you merge with God. Is that everything is yours. You already have everything. You already have everything that you wanted. You own everything. It's just your ego and your limited view is making you think that you may be losing something. In actuality, you're not losing anything. So that's what I perceive. That's what I picked up from the Isha Upanishad. So thank you all for watching. If y'all do, I appreciate it, and y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Thank you.